Hey, welcome back. Corey Anderson here. We have not forgot our goal, and we are here to inspire people. We really don't know how it is happening. We don't even know if we're doing it right. We have no idea what is going on right now with our methods of doing things. But all I do know is that I need to stay in the process and to keep taking action towards the goals that I have for not only for myself but also for those around me and for you guys as well. Because I'm here to inspire you to grow in every direction possible, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And right now we're going to go over chapter 6 of how The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. In the last chapter we went over increasing life, that this universal substance, this energy, this thinking substance that Wallace talks about has the nature to constantly increase in life. And since this intelligence is within us, and that this intelligence is us, we have the nature to constantly increase and advance in life. And that statement is truer than true, because each generation is more godlike than the generation before them and has the desire for more, because as society advances as a whole and technology, opportunities, just the way we work as a species as a whole gets more advanced, so does the species itself become more advanced. And so we're here to do our part for not only my generation but also the generation after me and the generations to come, and we're doing our best to start a trend for you guys and girls, my brothers and sisters, in literal terms, because we all came from this one source. We're all connected with this one source. We are all part of this one source, because we all are the source embodied in a human form, having a human experience. Behind the mask we wear, you and I are one. And that being said, let's go ahead and get started with chapter 6. So chapter number 6, how riches come to you. When I say that you do not have to drive sharp bargains, I do not mean that you do not have to drive any bargains at all, or that you are above the necessity for having any dealings with your fellow men. I mean that you will not need to deal with them unfairly. You do not have to get something for nothing, but can give to every man more than you take from him. You cannot give every man more in cash market value than you take from him, but you can give him more in use value than the cash value of the thing you take from him. The paper, ink, and other material in this book may not be worth the money you pay for it, but if the ideas suggested by it bring you thousands of dollars, you have not been wronged by those who sold it to you. They have given you a great use value for a small cash value. Let us suppose that I own a picture by one of the great artists, which in any civilized community is worth thousands of dollars. I take it to Baffin Bay, and by salesmanship induce an Eskimo to give a bundle of furs worth $500 for it. I have really wronged him, for he has no use for the picture. It has no use value to him. It will not add to his life. But suppose I gave him a gun worth $50 for his furs. Then he has made a good bargain. He has use for the gun. It will get him many more furs and much food. It will add to his life in every way. It will make him rich. When you rise from the competitive to the creative plane, you can scan your business transactions very strictly. And if you are selling any man anything which does not add more to his life than the thing he gave to you in exchange, you can afford to stop it. You do not have to beat anybody in business, and if you are in a business which does beat people, get out of it at once. Give every man more in use value than you take from him in cash value. Then you are adding to the life of the world by every business transaction. If you have people working for you, you must take from them more in cash value than you pay them in wages. But you can so organize your business that it will be filled with the principle of advancement, and so that each employee who wishes to do so may advance every little day, a little every day. Now that is very interesting how he just says that right now, because that pretty much puts into explanations the corporate world and the multi-level marketing world type business. When you're working somebody, they have to pay you less than what they are making, but you could set your business up to where they become independent contractors, and all the work that they do is put on them. If they want to make a lot of money, then they're the ones who have to put in the work for it, and not just doing what you need them to do at a job. That's the difference between an hourly wage paying job and then being your own independent contractor. This way, you don't really have to do much. You just have to do what you are told to do, and you get paid hourly for it, and it's not really much work. And then this one, well, I take that back. This is a lot of work. This is tons of work. In all honesty, it's a lot more work than this is, because this it goes hand in hand. But this way, everything that you do is all on you, depending on how many people you bring in, depending on how many sales you do, depending on how much you advertise it yourself. And the more you get out there, the more you can make in this side, which on this side it's only strictly one pay, where you could, on this side there's no limits. The only limits is how much work you put in. Okay. You can make your business do for your employees what this book is doing for you. You can so conduct your business that it will be a sort of a ladder by which every employee who will take the trouble may climb to riches himself, and given the opportunity, if he will not do so, it is not your fault. That is essentially what we went over with it, the difference between an independent contractor and an employee. And finally, because you are to cause the creation of your riches from formless substance, which permeates all your environment, it does not follow that they are to take shape from the atmosphere and come into being before your eyes. If you want a sewing machine, for instance, I do not mean to tell you that you are to impress the thought of a sewing machine on thinking substance until the machine is formed without hands, in the room where you sit or elsewhere. But if you want a sewing machine, hold the mental image of it with the most positive certainty that it is being made, or it is on its way to you. After once forming the thought, have the most absolute and unquestioning faith that the sewing machine is coming. Never think of it or speak of it in any other way than as being sure to arrive. Claim it as already yours. Now that is very interesting how he says that too, because I don't know if you guys know much about the law of attraction, but all of their teachings when it comes to the law of attraction, they talk about forming the mental picture in your mind and believing that you have already received it, because it is that belief, it is that faith that it is coming. You are releasing those energy patterns. You are releasing that energy into the atmosphere. And not only are you setting those things in motion for it to come to you, but you yourselves are also embodying the movement and the embodying the image itself of the sewing machine as already coming to you. It's definitely a food for thought and something to ponder over, but when you start to actually start applying this and seeing it for yourself, it'll all become more and more clear for you. It will be brought to you by the power of the Supreme Intelligence acting upon the minds of men. If you live in Maine, it may be that a man will be brought from Texas or Japan to engage in some transaction which will result in your getting what you want. There's something I want to share with you really fast. I know in the last video I was telling you how I ran into a photographer, and we were talking about photography, and basically we did a what is known as a barter. It's an exchange of one service for another. I give him training for free, and he gives me photography for free. And just a couple days ago, I had met a man. His name is, well, I'll go ahead and leave his name out of it. We were talking about photography, and he asked me what I wanted to do, and I was telling him how I wanted to inspire people and get myself out there more, to reach more people. And he was talking to me about, photos and photography and videos and taking videos and making them in great ways. And yeah, sure enough, 2 days later, I end up meeting this guy, the photographer, and all that ended up happening. We did that barter, and now I essentially have someone who's willing to help me with my photos. And we're excited to see where we're gonna go with that. And let's continue. Do not forget for a moment that the thinking substance is through all, in all, communicating with all, and can influence all. The desire of thinking substance for fuller life and better living has caused the creation of all the sewing machines already made, and it can cause the creation of millions more, and will, whenever men set in motion by desire and faith, and by acting in a certain way. Acting in a certain way. Remember how I was saying, you embody that attitude, you embody that vision, you embody that mental image. You set it in motion and you embody it. You are literally co-creating with the universe. It's pretty cool, huh? You can certainly have a sewing machine in your house, and it is just as certain that you can have any other thing or things which you want, and which you will use for the advancement of your own life and the lives of others. You need not hesitate about asking largely. It is your Father's pleasure to give you the kingdom, said Jesus. Original substance wants to live all that is possible in you, and wants you to have all that you can or will use for the living of the most abundant life. If you fix upon your consciousness the fact that the desire you feel for the possession of riches is one of the desire of omnipotence for more complete expression, your faith becomes invincible. Once I saw a little boy sitting at a piano and vainly trying to bring harmony out of the keys, and I saw that he was grieved and provoked by his inability to play real music. I asked him the cause of his vexation, and he answered, I can feel the music in me, but I can't make my hands go right. The music in him was the urge of original substance, containing all the possibilities of all life. All that there is of music was seeking expression through the child. God, the one substance, is trying to live and do and enjoy things through humanity, through you, through me and you. I simply made myself an open channel because if I don't do it, who else will? Like I had always said, we all have our own voice, we all have our own way of looking things and perceiving things, and it is that power of perception which makes us co-creators, because we have the ability to choose what we want to perceive. Here's an example of that. Two people could go through the exact same thing. Let's say, for example, you're looking at a tree. You're looking at the exact same tree, but both of you are experiencing it and perceiving it in your own personal way. So in a way, that one tree is two different trees, and it's amazing. It's really, life is amazing. God, the one substance, is trying to live and do and enjoy things through humanity. He says, quote, I want hands to build wonderful structures, to play divine harmonies, to paint glorious pictures. I want feet to run my errands, eyes to see my beauties, tongues to tell mighty truths, and to sing marvelous songs, end quote, and so on. All that there is of possibility is seeking expression through men. God wants those who can play music to have pianos and every other instrument, and to have the means to cultivate their talents to the fullest extent. He wants those who can appreciate beauty to be able to surround themselves with beautiful things. He wants those who can discern truth to have every opportunity to travel and observe. He wants those who can appreciate dress to be beautifully clothed, and those who can appreciate good food to be luxuriously fed. He wants all these things because it is Himself that enjoys and appreciates them. It is God who wants to play and sing and enjoy beauty and proclaim truth and wear fine clothes and eat good foods. Quote, "It is God that worketh in you and will to do." Let me reread that. Quote, "It is God that worketh in you to will and to do," end quote, said Paul. The desire you feel for riches is the infinite, seeking to express Himself in you, as He sought to find expression in the little boy at the piano. So you need not hesitate to ask largely. Your part is to focalize and express the desire to God. This is a difficult point with most people. They retain something of the old idea that poverty and self-sacrifice are pleasing to God. They look upon poverty as part of the plan, a necessity of nature. They have the idea that God has finished His work and made all that He can make, and that the majority of men must stay poor because there is not enough to go around. They hold to so much of this erroneous thought that they feel ashamed to ask for wealth. They try not to want more than a very modest competence, just enough to make them fairly comfortable. I recall now the case of one student who was told that he must get in mind a clear picture of the things he desired, so that the creative thought of them might be impressed on formless substance. He was a very poor man, living in a rented home, and having only what he earned from day to day, and he could not grasp the fact that all wealth was his. So, after thinking the matter over, he decided that he might reasonably ask for a new rug for the floor in his best room, and an anthracite coal stove to heat the house during the cold weather. Following the instructions given in this book, he obtained these things in a few months, and then it dawned upon him that he had not asked enough. He went through the house in which he lived, and planned all the improvements he would like to make in it. He mentally added a bay window here and a room there, until it was complete in his mind and his ideal home, and then he planned its furnishings. Holding the whole picture in his mind, he began living in a certain way, and moving towards what he wanted, and he owns the house now, and is rebuilding it after the form of his mental image. And now, with still larger faith, he is going on to get greater things. It has been unto him according to his faith, and it is so with you and with all of us. Now that is the end of chapter 6. Now, I challenge you guys, go ahead and think of something that you want. Think of something that you want to achieve for yourself, or something you want to experience for yourself. Go quietly in your room and meditate upon it, form the mental pictures of it, visualize it. All those successful people talk about visualizing. You have to visualize it. You have to see it in your mind's eye, because that is the only way of letting formless substance, the universe, know what you want. And remember, you are setting these forces in motion. So things are moving, people are moving. We are all a part, we are all connected on the divine level, and we are all playing the part with each other. You set it in motion and what you want, and other people play the part to help you get what you want. It is the same with you, and the same with the person next to you. In miraculous ways, you are also playing the part in their life to get them what they want. And it's really amazing when you think about it. So the challenge I have to you, form the mental image, believe that you're receiving it, have faith that it is coming to you, have faith in principle, have faith in the universe. Remember, this thinking substance acts upon our thoughts. Now remember this example that I just set out for you, this photographer that I ended up meeting 2 days after I talked with somebody about photography, because I had asked. I asked for it, and I received it. Believe you are going to receive, and you will have it. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to end it there. And we have chapter 7 next, which he's going over gratitude. I'll see you